This is 5.5, Sum and Differences, and this is day 3 of these notes. Okay, something I wanted to point it out on here on the right side. It says when you're solving equations, like we're doing on today's notes, you can work on both sides of the equation. When you're proving, you can only work on one side, and this is very, very important. Okay, so if you notice here, I'm pulling back in general solutions. So we need to find a general solution for part A, and then on B, we're finding, it says particular values from 0 to 2 pi. So that just means you're finding, it may not be 3 values, it could be 2, it could be 5, so however many values fall between 0 and 2 pi, and they do have to be positive. Okay, so the first thing I want you to look at is what can we do with this right here? And you should notice, because we've been working on them, it is a sum and difference. Okay, so I want you to look at your formula chart and see what we could replace this with. And of course, this is your A and your B value. So it looks like we could replace it with cosine of x plus pi over 4. And that's going to be equal to 1/2. And then I can move my cosine over because now I'm solving, so I'm working on both sides of this equation. If I move my cosine over, this is x plus pi over 4 is equal to arc cosine of 1/2. The principal value is 60 degrees, and how I found that was I drew a triangle of arc cosine, which is positive. This is adjacent over hypotenuse, and this is root 3. That's how I found the 60 degrees. Okay, since we're in radians, we need to change that back to radians, so that's going to be pi over 3. Okay, so I'm going to set up my two equations. This is x plus pi over 4 is equal to my principal value, which is pi over 3, plus 2 pi n. Don't forget your 2 pi n. Okay, my second equation. Remember, you can do all students take calculus. And my principal value is, or my arc cosine right here, is positive. So it needs to be down here in this fourth quadrant. So I could just go ahead and do my negative angle, and that's what I'm going to do. So x plus pi over 4 is equal to negative pi over 3 plus 2 pi n. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. So if I solve this for x, the only thing I need to do is to subtract pi over 4 from both sides. And it looks like I'm going to do that on both of these. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to find a common denominator. That gives me a general solution of x equals pi over 12 plus 2 pi n. Remember, you can't subtract it from this because of my n value. Over here, when I subtract, I get x equals negative 7 pi over 12 plus 2 pi n. And there's my two general solutions. Okay, then for part B, it tells me that I need to find some values. Oh, whoops, this is part B. I need to find values that fall between 0 and 2 pi. So go ahead and find common denominators here. So if you want to rewrite this, that would be the easiest. So pi over 12 plus 24 pi, pi over 12, and this is your n value, and then this is negative 7 pi 12 plus 24 pi over 12, and this is your n value. And then you're going to substitute and plug in some numbers here and see how many you get. You might get 3 again, or you might not. So my b value, I got 12. I'm sorry, that's a pi over 12. Having a hard time today. And I got 17 pi over 12. Those are the only values I got that happen to fall between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, let's look at this one. The first thing that I see that's kind of weird is this root 3 over 3. And I'm going to rewrite that as negative 1 over root 3. That's just a simplified version of this. Okay, this left side I can simplify, or I'm going to make it a little bit easier to read. If I look at the bottom of my formula chart, I can rewrite this. This is your A and this is your B. So let's rewrite it as tangent of 2x minus x is equal to negative 1 over root 3. And let's simplify some more. So this is tangent of x is equal to negative 1 over root 3. Wow, this is simplifying a lot. So now let's move the tangent over. So x is equal to arctan of negative 1 over root 3. Okay, at this time, we need to find our principal value. So arctan is going to be on the side, and it's going to be drawn down here because that's where the negative falls. So 1 over root 3, and this is 2. That's going to have to be negative right there, right? So this is a negative 30-degree angle right there. Looks like we're still in radians because of my x. So this is going to be negative pi over 6. Now remember, tangent only has one general solution, so we're good to go on this one. So x is equal to negative pi over 6 plus pi n. Remember, only 180 degrees there as well. So there's my A. I'll write my B over here. So find common denominator if you would like to write that out. That's pi over 6 plus 6 pi over 6. And we're going to plug in answers here and find out how many I can get that fall between 0 and 2 pi. So I'm going to get 5 pi over 6. And how about 11 pi over 6? Looks like I'm only getting 2 on each of those. Okay, come to class with questions.